everyone and welcome to this chapter of Scientist Talks. It's with immense pleasure and gratitude I would like to welcome today's guest, Professor Sengupta. Professor Sengupta obtained her bachelor's and master's degree in chemistry from prestigious Ravenshaw University in Cuttack, Odisha. Following a subsequent year-long post-MSc curriculum in biosciences at Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics, Kolkata, West Bengal, she carried out and earned her PhD from the same institute, working on cell biology of cancer. She began her research career at Human Genetics Unit of Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. In 2010, she moved to the newly established NIBMG, Kalyani as a professor, and currently she is present there in the capacity of an eminent scientist. Professor Sengupta's research has focused on human papilloma related cervical cancer with emphasis on genetic epidemiology and natural history studies of the same. Among Professor Sengupta's illustrious CV are fellowships to the West Bengal Academy of Science and Technology and the National Academy of Sciences, India, as well as Award for Lifetime Achievement in Cancer Biology, Genomics and Epigenomics by Venue International Foundation, Chennai. It is a privilege to have you here today, ma'am. Thank you very much. We will start with the questions.
Yes.
So, what made you choose a career in science?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer, but I would like to say that it all started from school. When in our times, like from 7 onwards, you started to learn the subject-wise sciences, like it became physics, chemistry, and not a general science or a biological science that way. So from that time, we had some very good teachers teaching us, like in school, and they were the ones who influenced me. Subsequently, when I went on to class 9, where we had to just get distributed into the stream science and humanities, so I took up science over there. And at that time, we had a wonderful teacher. They were all from an adjoining college, the professors who would come and teach us. And I was utterly impressed by the teaching of the chemistry teacher, and from there onwards, my love for chemistry got initiated, and I thought that I would pursue. But what happened is that it was very funny. I started loving physics also at that time. So when we got into the college, I applied for both physics as well as chemistry honors, and I got selected in both. At that time, I had to take a call which subject to take. And I made out, I thought that chemistry has much more openings because at the back of my mind there was biochemistry, and in our college we did not have biochemistry specialization. So I stayed there. I thought that I'll stay here, I'll complete my MSc, I'll take up organic chemistry, which I really liked, and so that it will be easier for me to switch my area when I move on to, and subsequently later on. And actually that has happened.
Okay, ma'am. According to you, what are some of the highlights of your career?
Some of the highlights of my career is that I would say the first thing is that I have been very lucky to have gotten the opportunity of getting into very premier institutions of the country. My college, it was not Ravenshaw University at that time, it was Ravenshaw College, but they had the postgraduate teaching. So I did my BSc, MSc both from there. It was one of the renowned colleges of the country. And then from there I moved on. I got an opportunity to work at Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics, an institute which was established by Professor Meghnad Saha, famous person you all know about, must have heard his name in physics. And then I got the opportunity to work at Indian Statistical Institute. That was a dream for me. I never imagined that I would get this opportunity, And then after that, moving into National Institute of Biomedical Genetics, a new institute of a very new kind. That was again another achievement, I think. I do call it an achievement for myself that I have been able to get into an institution of this kind and contribute to the growth of this institution. And besides this, I've had my great students, very good students who worked with me, they've faced problems with my students and publications also. All of my students went, they graduated out of the wherever, whether at ISI or at here, at least 3 publications each. So I think that's a good thing that has happened, and I hope the last 2 they also do very well. And besides this, I've had very good colleagues, very accommodative and wonderful, very inspiring colleagues. Particularly, I'm lucky that I came in touch with Professor through my career in ISI, and that was the starting. And I am his guidance, just as he guides you all, like the students. He does a lot of mentoring to us also, and that's a valuable thing that I have learned from him, how to carry on, take forward my career.
How was your experience being the director in charge of the institute? Was there anything about the job that seemed daunting to you?
The experience was good, I would say. I did not face much any of a problem, although that was a very transitional period because we were in the old campus, and I think none of you have visited that campus. And shifting an institute from that campus to the new campus, that was a real problem, I thought. But then everything happened, the transition happened very smoothly because although we were not that big at that time, but with that strength also, things went on very well because everybody, each and every person of the institute contributed towards that, and the transition moving from there to the new institute was very smooth. And apart from that, I thought there have been some hurdles. Definitely, there were a few administrative problems that I had to handle, had to sort out, but those also came through very well, and I don't think I have faced much of a problem. It was, but always when you are holding this chair, what keeps bugging you all the time is that the funds, institutional fund flow, that should be optimal, because if that is not there, you cannot make anybody happy. The scientists, the faculty, their work has to go on, and the students have to work in the labs. Until and unless there's fund flow, it becomes very difficult. So I used to always be very, I always used to be a little tensed whether the funds will come in the right time and everybody would be able to get their share at the right moment. These are the things.
What were the biggest obstacles you had to overcome in your journey? And pardon me for asking this, but did you ever have the impression that it would be any different for you if you were a man?
Hurdles, truly speaking, I have not faced much of hurdles, I don't remember any major hurdles that I had to cross in reaching to this position. And I never also thought that things would have been better had I been a man. Because I throughout my life I never felt that difference between a man and a woman. I saw my brothers getting the opportunities, and I think I got more opportunities than him in my life. And then as I moved on into my academic career, over there, in ISI, in that department, I was the only woman, and we were four or five faculty members. The rest were all men. But I never felt out of place, nothing. It was such a good atmosphere. And then moving here, there were so many people. I actually never thought that I would do much better had I been a man.
So ma'am, if you had an option to give an advice to your younger self, what would it be?
That's a difficult question to answer, but I would say what I have not done personally, that is, I have not advertised about what I do, what I did, but I would say to the young budding scientists that yes, you do your work seriously, at the same time try to take your work to the public, try to portray your whatever good things happen, your publications, your people should get to know. Otherwise, if you are quiet and silent, nobody gets to know you. And the initial phases, that was something that I did not indulge in, but later on I realized the merit of teaching.
Ma'am, in your opinion, are there any changes that academia needs to be more attractive to young minds?
Yes, like as many would say, I would also like to say academia needs to be very attractive for people to get into the academia and take up careers, an academic career. You know, first of all, the salaries have to be very competitive. You know, compared to the private sector, we are still way behind. Those should be competitive, and then and particularly those of us who are into research, our concern is getting funds. We should, the quantum of funding should be enhanced, and the fund flow should be smooth. The red tape things should be reduced. I think it should.
Given that your research involves a lot of field work, how do you effectively communicate your research to the public?
Yes, my work involves a lot of field work definitely, and for that, initially I have to go and first of all we need to campaign, we need to prime them, we need to tell them what is the purpose of our research and what we are going to do, and we need to also apprise them that when we collect samples from you, whatever kinds of samples, whether it is blood or cervical, scrapes or whatever, that's not going to harm you. Whatever comes out of the research, that's going to benefit your health, not only you, your family and subsequent generations. We need to convince them. So when we, after doing what, particularly HPV screening and all, I think it's my responsibility to go back to them and tell them, those who are positive, so that they can take extra care and they can keep themselves healthy. And throughout, this is how we actually do. So we have to do a lot of talking, you have to be very patient, you have to convince them, and also you have to take back your findings to them and tell them, see, if you are detected at this stage, now if the interventions are done, you will be safe, you will not develop that. Otherwise, what would have happened is that one fine day you would have realized that you are having a severe problem, and at that time there would be nothing that could have been done to save your life.
Ma'am, what are some of the qualities that budding scientists like us need to have to succeed in academics?
Oh, first thing, I think you should have an open mind. You need to talk to people, you need to discuss with people, and you also need to be definitely hardworking, persevering, and what else?
So besides your scientific interest, what are some of the things that you would like to do in your leisure?
In my leisure, I'm a foodie, you know. So during my leisure time, I love cooking. And I've seen that cooking is a great way of relaxing. It's a great way of draining out all your tension. And besides this, I love shopping and all those things. In my younger days, I used to do a lot of embroidery, but I've given up all those. No time for such things. And of course, reading used to be passion.
You do a lot of online shopping,
Not much of online. I love to go to the shops and pick up things see and then pick up.
This is just out of curiosity, where did you learn cooking? And cooking, or did that journey start?
Yeah, see, initially whatever I felt like cooking, my grandmother would guide me, my mother would tell me, yeah, you do this way, this way. That way I learned. And now when cooking is so easy, you get everything at hand. You get the videos, you just see how they are doing it.
What is the funniest or most memorable incident that has happened to you while working in a lab?
Actually, I don't remember much of the funny incidents or something happening in the lab, but when I was a student working for my PhD degree at that time, I worked solely on my cell cultures and not in human samples and all. So in the lab, we used to have several incubators, and those were marked incubator number 1, this and this person has to use incubator number 2. We had 2 incubators actually, these persons. The second incubator was often used by a faculty member who was in our lab, and he was a very tough person to handle. So even if our incubator would get filled with plates and all, there's no place to keep the plates, we would want to keep it over there. He would never allow us. So those were the times when we all would guard him and try to put the plates over there so that he cannot make imagine. Then once we put the plates, he cannot throw them out. So do those kinds of things. And besides, when I started mentoring students, I would see some students were excellent, very confident, doing great work. But some of the students, they were able to work in the labs. But once I go and stand and try to tell them something, their hands start shivering. I told one student, why what? Do I scold you? Do I tell you anything? Why is your hand shivering? No, ma'am, I feel so scared when you're here.
How do you maintain work-life balance?
Work-life balance has come automatically. I did not have to put in any extra efforts because of this. Because I think if your family is accommodative, things are fine. It's easy to handle. So.
Okay, what is a lesson that took you a long time to learn?
Yeah, the lesson that took me a long time to learn is that I think everybody should take some time out of their work for themselves. Although it is contradictory to academia, where it is thought that you have to be in the rat race. Because when you come back with a fresh mind, I think science can be done in a much better way. That's what I realize now.
Do you have a bucket list? And if you have, then what remains to be ticked?
I have several things as a bucket list, but my major bucket list at present is that I would like to see that there is no cervical cancer in the world. People are free of cervical cancer because it is so easy to handle if it is detected at an early stage. I have been working on this since over 20 years now, and still the burden of the disease is high and women die, mortality is high. Actually, in our country, where many of the countries have brought down this disease to a large extent, in our country, despite producing all the data, apprising the government have not taken much steps. There are no regular screenings and no vaccination. Now the Indian vaccine has come out, and I'm very excited. I think if the vaccine shots come down to 200 or 400 rupees per shot, then I'm going to make a move to catch hold of NGOs and vaccinate all the girls, even if the government does not. So that's my wish. I see that all girls are healthy and free of cervical cancer.
How has your journey so far been in NIBMG, and where do you see the institute in the next 10 years?
My journey at NIBMG has been great. I have enjoyed in every step, because right from the beginning I was involved in all kinds of activities, I was exposed to all even high-level meetings, like because I was the only professor at that time and there was a Majumdar. Sometimes I had to I have accompanied you to several great meetings, and from there I learned a lot. That was a great experience, and my journey has been excellent in this institute. And I would like to see this institute this institute should be in the forefront leaders in the biomedical research, because this is a unique institute. Whenever the new students come in and we are asked to talk to them, address them, I always tell them, you should be very happy that you're here, because it's an institute where you are able to work with human samples. You're working, biomedical means disease related, and you're working with humans. It's a real life situation that you're dealing with. So you should be very happy, and you should be happy that everything can be done. All facilities are there under one roof. Whatever is required for conducting biomedical research. We also have now, will be having the animal house facility also. So there's no dearth of facilities in this institute. This is a unique institute in that sense.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time to sharing your experiences with us. And interviewing you was truly an amazing experience. And hope this interview inspires budding scientists. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.